Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's hearing. I appreciate all the parties who are appearing virtually today, and we also welcome our entire audience live streaming. So first thing we need to do is we need to ask our attorney, Ms. Joanne Wessinger-Hill, to read the docket.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and other members of the Commission. This is the proceeding in docket number 2020-43-E, which is the application of Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity for the construction and operation of one new 230 kilovolt transmission line to be built in Aiken County, South Carolina, to be known as the Toolebeck-Aiken 230 kV tie, and the fold-in of one existing 230 kilovolt transmission line to the existing substation in Aiken County, which will be known as segments or two lines renamed as Graniteville number 2, Toolebeck 230 kV, and Toolebeck-South Augusta 230 kV tie, and the associated facilities. This public hearing was scheduled for 10 a.m. on Tuesday, April the 14th. This hearing is designed to be conducted virtually due to the public health and safety concerns due to the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic and related state and national states of emergency. Mr. Chairman and other members of the Commission, the docket is in order.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to take the Commission roll to make sure we're all here and on the call, and just answer here. Commissioner Belser.
Here.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Here.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Here.
Great. Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Irvin.
Here.
And Randy Randall, Chairman Randall, I am here. Okay, now we'll take appearances from the parties. First, Dominion.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. My name is Matthew Gissendanner. I'm Corporate Counsel for Dominion Energy South Carolina. With me today is Chad Burgess, who is also Corporate Counsel for Dominion Energy South Carolina. Together we represent the company, and it's our pleasure to appear before you today, and we appreciate the opportunity to present the case before you in this virtual format. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Gissendanner. Anyone from South Carolina Department of Public Parks, Recreation, and Tourism? Okay. South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. I think, Ms. Dickman, weren't you with us? Okay. South Carolina DNR. Okay. Office of Regulatory Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jenny Pittman and Andrew Bateman for the Office of Regulatory Staff.
Welcome. Okay. I think we have everybody here. Let's see. Okay. Are there any preliminary matters that we need to attend to before we begin?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is Jenny Pittman for ORS.
I think I'm only on by phone, so I'm really here to observe, and I appreciate the...
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Dick. Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On March 27th, ORS and Dominion Energy South Carolina filed a stipulation, and I would like to move that into the record as the first hearing exhibit at this time.
Thank you. Okay, we'll enter the stipulation as hearing exhibit number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay, are there any opening statement, or we'll go ahead and present the case?
Dominion Energy has no opening statement, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anything, Ms. Pittman?
No statement from ORS.
Okay, great. Okay, I'll turn it over to Dominion.
Mr. Chairman, Dominion Energy South Carolina pre-filed the direct testimony and exhibits of Mr. Scott Parker and Mr. Nathan Bass on March the 3rd, 2020, and subsequently filed verifications of the testimonies and exhibits with a joint motion on March 27th, 2020. At this time, I would move the verified pre-filed direct testimonies of Mr. Scott Parker and Mr. Nathan Bass into the record as is given orally from the stand.
Okay, the pre-filed verified testimony of Mr. Scott Parker and of Mr. Nathan Bass will be entered into the record as though given orally from the stand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would also move the exhibit attached to the direct testimony of Mr. Parker and labeled as exhibit number RSP1 into the record as the next hearing exhibit.
Okay, Mr. Parker's exhibit RSP1 will be entered as hearing exhibit number 2.
And then finally, I would move the exhibit attached to the direct testimony of Mr. Bass and labeled as exhibit number MVB-1. That's the environmental report and all of its associated figures and appendices. I would move that exhibit MVB-1 into the record as the next hearing exhibit.
Okay, Mr. Bass's exhibit NVB1 will be entered as hearing exhibit number 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dominion Energy has nothing further.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gissendaner. Okay, Ms. Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On March 17th, 2020, ORS filed the direct testimony of Brandon S. Bickley and followed that on March 27th with a verification for that testimony. At this time, I would like to move the verified pre-filed direct testimony of Brandon S. Bickley into the record as if given orally from the stand.
The pre-filed verified testimony of Mr. Brandon S. Bickley will be entered into the record as though given orally from the stand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing further from ORS.
Thank you. Okay. Commissioners, any questions? I know we might have a couple.
Mr. Chairman, this is Florence Belser.
Mr. Belser.
Mr. Gissendaner or Mr. Burgess, if you could, how many pole structures are currently on this right-of-way?
Commissioner Belser, I apologize. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I'm looking at, and I think this is the same information that is attached as the exhibit to Mr. Bass's testimony, but there's what looks like, what am I in? There looks like the kind of the old two-pole structure with the crossbars in the middle. That
yeah, and
H-frame. It's called an H-frame, is that right?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Okay. There's one of those shown on this diagram, and then there's another one in red that is a single pole with the crossbars for the attachment. And the way I'm reading this, the single pole with the attachment is going to be new. It's going to be added there, and the existing one will remain as well. Does that sound correct?
Can you let me
I am looking.
let me find the,
I'll say
can you identify which can you let me know which exhibit which figure in the report you're looking at?
I think this is actually from the application, and it's the
okay.
Transmission Siting and Environmental Report, and it is on pages, well, the description of the project lines is contained in section 3, pages 11 through about 17. And I'm actually looking at figures 3.1-4, 3.1-5, 3.1-6.
Yeah. Okay. So what it looks like to me from looking at those figures in 3.1, dash 4. In 3.1-4, you have an existing H-frame that will remain in that right-of-way, and then on the other side of that right-of-way, you'll have a new single pole, looks like a double circuit structure. And then in figure 3.1-5, you have an existing H-frame, and it looks to me as though that existing H-frame will be removed, and then in its place you will have two, the H-frame will be removed, and then you'll have a new pole in its place, and then on the other side of the right-of-way, you will also have another pole, single pole double circuit structure, and then figure 3.16. Figure 3.16 appears to be a single pole. An H-frame in the right-of-way on one side, which appears that it will remain, and then you'll have a new single pole double circuit structure on the other side. And in 3.1-7, obviously you've got an H-frame, and then on the other side you'll have a single pole double circuit structure.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. I just needed some clarification. So presently there's one structure with the line there now, and if this is approved, there would be two transmission structures with associated lines on them.
That's what it appears.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry about that. I had done what I told everybody else to, and muted my phone. Thank you, Commissioner Belcher. I was just talking right away. Appreciate everybody. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner
Mr.
Howell. I guess from
yes.
anyone from Dominion, either Chad or Matt or whoever, but we have a term, smart grid, modernizing the grid. I'm just curious, does this line take advantage of all the technology available to modernize the smart grid? And I guess another question is, what is your definition of a smart or modernized grid?
I believe that this line is certainly using but I have no let me say it this way. I have no reason to believe that this line is not using the most up-to-date technology available.
Well, my next and last question is, what percentage of the poles remaining are still wooden poles?
I do not have an answer to that question.
That's all right, just curious. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Howard. Okay, any other questions?
Mr. Chairman. Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Whitfield.
Yes, sir. Just one question for Mr. Burgess or Mr. Gissendanner, kind of in general in nature, and I see in the testimony a lot of what has brought this about. Other generation coming online and renewable generation and so forth, but looks like to me from Mr. Bass's testimony and maybe others too, that the Urquhart Junction will be an extremely critical place. You call it the convergence point, and it looks like to me from the attached map to Mr. Parker's testimony that this will be located below Aiken and west of New Ellington, which I can't tell from this map. It looks like that would be on property or inside what was the old Savannah River site, under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Department of Energy property, which encompasses, as we know, a lot of Aiken County and Barnwell counties. And if they could, either Mr. Burgess or Mr. Gissendaner just share a little bit of more information on this Urquhart Junction and how busy of a point that will be, where everything seems to all come together there, and maybe any other information you could share about that critical point.
Mr. Commissioner Whitfield, you know, certainly you're correct. That is a convergence point, and the company does have multiple 230 kV and 115 kV lines that intersect on the DES system at that point, and I would refer you to a map on page 3 of the environmental report that was moved into the record in Mr. Bass's exhibit, that shows a diagram of the 230 and 115 kV lines that intersect at that point on the company system.
Thank you. I appreciate the attorneys trying to answer the questions. I just want to remind everyone we agreed not to have the witnesses on here, so the attorneys are answering questions. It's really not in their testimony. So I appreciate everybody doing their best on this. Ms. Wessinger-Hill, will you talk about proposed orders?
Yes, sir. Can the party, we would like to have proposed orders back from the parties, Mr. Chairman, and if I'd like to inquire, Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding that I believe Dominion wanted to start construction on this project, I believe it's June 1st. Am I correct, Matt or Chad?
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Do you think it's reasonable then that we could have proposed orders, given that we're right here in April, could have proposed orders and within the next 2 weeks, so 2 weeks from today? Would that be appropriate, ORS or Dominion's counsel?
Yes, that would be fine with ORS.
Yeah, that would be fine with us.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if that is okay with the commission, we can get proposed orders from the parties within the next 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today.
Okay. Fine, thank you. We'll get proposed orders 2 weeks from today. Okay, is there anything else to come before us in this hearing? If not, I want to thank everyone for participating virtually. Again, appreciate all the hard work our staff has done once again to make this happen. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.